lovely folk, so Coloured Raine, as a lot of you might know, recently launched a collection of vivid bright pigments. This is basically a collection of single matte bright eyeshadows, colorful eyeshadows, and you know, everyone and their grandmother is doing these types of shades right now, but Coloured Raine decided to put their spin on it, and because I'm a curious creature and I've kind of been enjoying the metallic shades that I have from Coloured Raine, I have a couple of those as well, I decided to try the mattes and also just to see what the hype is about. I did wait for these to become available on beautybay because I didn't want to order them from Coloured Raine directly because Coloured Raine is in the US. They are on beautybay. I don't think all of them are on beautybay, and something very confusing. When you go on beautybay and you search for these eyeshadows, you are going to get a selection of them under like the Vivid Brights or the Vivid Pigments or whatever they're called drop down menu. But then if you look at their like overall eyeshadow selection, you are going to find a couple of these under there as well. For instance, the shades that I picked up were, I think, 2 out of the 3 that I picked up were actually in the regular shadow selection and not in the Vivid Brights selection. So just FYI, if you're going to purchase from beautybay, look closely. The 3 shades that I picked up are these 3 guys over here: Drip Drop, Squat, and Level Up. And I mean, there is really no rhyme or reason as to why I picked these shades. Greens and blues are my jam. They have a lot of warmer shades. They have also purples. I might eventually pick those up, but for now I feel like Sugar Pill has me covered with the purples, and I have so many like warm matte eyeshadows that I didn't really feel the need to pick up any of those. The price of these, if I'm not mistaken, is something in the range of €6, so they're not overly expensive. They're pretty much the range of like an Inglot single eyeshadow, and I feel like in terms of quality, pigmentation and performance, they also are quite comparable. So if you're not able to get your hands on Coloured Raine, I would highly suggest to look at Inglot singles, because I feel like in terms of colors and performance you're going to get something similar. These are indeed very bright and very colorful and very pigmented, as you're also going to see in the demo, because I did this look using all 3 of the shades. In terms of shade selection, I don't feel like the shades that they picked out or the colors they picked out are very unique. I think from all the 3 that I picked out, this shade here, Squad, so this really dark green teal, is probably the most unique in my collection personally. The bright blue and the bright green are by no means unique to my collection, and I feel like a lot of the other shades, especially if you have Sugar Pill, are not unique by any stretch of the imagination. But that being said, I was curious mostly about the formula, because at this point the market is oversaturated, especially also with these types of eyeshadows, and it's not so much about color dupes but about performance of the eyeshadows and the quality of the eyeshadows, and I feel like these are really great quality. Action can tell you much more than words, so I'm just going to leave you with the demo part of this video where I used all 3 shades for this green blue look that I'm wearing right now. So if you're curious how these eyeshadows perform, then please keep watching. So I'm really excited to play with these eyeshadows because I've had them for almost a week and I haven't really done anything with them yet. So I'm going to use all the 3 mattes that I got from the Coloured Raine Vivid Brights, or is it just Vivid Pigments? I don't know. Anyway, the 3 colorful matte eyeshadows from Coloured Raine. So the first shade I'm going to dip into is this one here. It's this light blue shade, which is called a Drip Drop, and I'm going to use that in the inner part of my crease, just using a fluffy brush. There is some kick up when you put your brush into these, so they're quite soft, but let's see how they perform on the eye. So I'm just going to fluff that right here in the inner part of my eye. These are definitely buildable. You can start in increments and then build up the pigment, and so far they're blending out quite nicely. Well, at least this shade is blending out really nicely. I'm going to grab this brush from Zoeva, their Looks Defined crease brush, and I'm going to go into the color Level Up. Level Up is a beautiful grass green type of shade. This is a shade that I definitely found dupes for in my collection in Inglot, from Inglot. So while this is a beautiful green, it's by all means all not a very unique shade. And I'm going to apply that here towards the outer part of my eye and crease. concentrating it more in the crease. Okay, and the final shade I'm going to go into is the shade Squad. And Squad is, in my opinion, the most unique shade that I personally bought from this collection so far, because I literally have nothing quite like it in my personal collection, so for me that is a very unique shade. It is like a very dark forest green with like this petrol blue tones to it. I don't know, it's very unique. I feel like I've seen a lot of shades like this in a shimmery form, but never in a matte, or at least I don't have anything that's a matte and looks quite like this. I'm going to take a pencil type of crease brush, and I'm going to apply this shade in particular a bit in the outer half of my lid, and then intensify the outer corner with it. Be careful, this shade is very dark. Actually, now that I'm applying it, I feel like it looks a lot like a shade from the Subculture palette. Lightly bringing it up into the crease. Don't bother too much though, because we're going to take the other brush, the one on which we had the lighter green, and we're going to very gently blend that with the light green. Like I said, nothing too crazy though, because I still want both shades to show up. Okay, so I did get the tiniest amount of fallout, but as you can see, all these shades blended out really well. They are staying on my lids really well, and so far I really enjoy the formula of these. So now it's time to go into some shimmers, because life wouldn't be complete without shimmers. So I have this little 9Z palette here, and basically these two shades and this whole bottom row here is all Coloured Raine eyeshadows, and this is the one that I want to put on the inner half of my lid today because it is new to me. This is the shade Malibu, and this looks like a gorgeous, like aqua sort of blue, my favorite type of blue. So I'm going to pop that towards the inner corner of the lid, meeting up with the green. As usual, I'm going to use glitter glue. The one that I'm going to use today is from Darling Girl. Doesn't matter which one you use, or you can just wet your brush or not even wet your brush, whatever floats your boat. I like to apply these types of metallic shades always with a glittery base, because I feel like they just look better. I'm going to dab that right here in the portion of the lid where I'm going to apply the Malibu shade. I'm not going to take it too far into the dark green though, because that's not where I'm going to apply the shade. And now I'm just going to dip with my fingers into Malibu and apply that right here. Oh, that's pretty. Just take the brush on which I had the Squad shade, the dark green, and just very lightly do this kind of action to blend the shades together. Just like so. Not applying any extra product, just slightly buffing, basically. Okay, for my inner corners, I'm going to take this shade from Looxi Beauty. It is called Frostbite, and it's a bit of a blue lavender duochrome. And I feel like it will just kind of go with this look. We're going for like blues and that kind of color story today. I'm going to quickly wing a liner using this Zoeva cream liner in the shade After Hours. After Hours is a really gorgeous, like shimmery dark teal. Okay, and for my lower lash line, I'm basically going to go into Drip Drop, so the beautiful blue shade that we applied earlier. As a base for that, I'm going to take this long-lasting stick eyeshadow kind of thing from KIKO, which is beautiful. Just as a base. And then apply that over top. You're not going to see much of that base anymore, but you know, at least it's somewhat more blue. Okay guys, so this is pretty much the final look. The final thoughts that I can give you on the 3 Vivid Bright Pigments from Coloured Raine that I picked up. I think they performed beautifully. You saw for yourself how they applied. I feel like the way they apply can tell you much more than a swatch, so I personally feel like these performed very well, and there isn't much more than I can tell you about them than if you see a few colors in the collection that attract you and you feel like would be unique to your collection, then just, you know, give them a try. Keep in mind, of course, that they're very pigmented and they're very like bright and colorful, so you must be someone who really enjoys using really colorful bright eyeshadows. They're not subdued by any stretch of the imagination. This is personally what I look for in like matte bright eyeshadows, so personally I was very happy with my purchase. I might pick up a few more of these in the future, but I think for now I'm just going to take it easy because a lot of the other colors are things I have from Sugarpill or from Inglot. I just really wanted to try the formula to make sure that it's you know, that it lives up to the hype, just because I'm a curious creature. I'm actually going to wrap this up. I feel like there isn't much more to say about this. Let me know if you picked up any of the colors or you picked up the whole collection, which ones are your favorites, and that kind of thing. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!